Tonight, rural crime on the rise.
When I was a kid and ride my bike, and now I wouldn't even walk it at night. I wouldn't even walk it after dark.
Small-town residents speak out as a new report shows rural crime rates overtaking those of urban centers. Also tonight, up in the air.
But to see this being lost is really critical.
Why the future of a food and support program for vulnerable seniors is now in question, and what it means for hundreds of folks who rely on the service. And later, Maker's Mark.
One time he got his name in the papers, and that made him a hero, to us.
The story behind 50-year-old artwork and why the artist behind the work is still captivating people today.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Taylor Brock.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joseph Bernacki. Residents of a small Manitoba town are raising the alarm tonight over rising crime rates. This after troubling statistics show crime in rural areas of the province are the second highest in all of Canada. CTV's Harrison Shin spoke with residents of Ashern about what they would like done.
A small community 2 hours northwest of Winnipeg, here in Ashern, crime is on people's minds.
There's been lots of vandalism in the last month or so, for sure. Lots of businesses have been broken into.
To the level, residents created a new Facebook group just to voice concerns.
We get posts in the group saying that either their shed's been kicked in, bikes have been stolen, businesses are being robbed, people are calling the police.
On Tuesday, Statistics Canada released a study about the crime severity index. In the latest data from 2024, Manitoba has the second highest for rural areas. That index weighs crimes in terms of severity. Manitoba came in at 180, down 4 points from 2023. Saskatchewan topped the list at 219.
Not surprising, which is very sad because your community should be safe. We're a small town. Everybody kind of knows everybody. You look out for your neighbors, and that's not happening right now.
Residents like cops say they don't have enough police officers in the area. Manitoba Justice Minister Matt Weep says more needs to be done for rural communities.
We know that there's a lot of issues that are driving crime, and we want to be tough on the root causes as well. So our whole government is working towards making your community safer, and we're going to make sure that the resources are there in place to make sure you and your family are safe.
For COP, she'd like to see more officers in town.
We have businesses that are being robbed daily, small businesses, small town owners. If the police and the government aren't doing anything to protect them, our small businesses are going to close.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Ashern, Manitoba.
2 people are in hospital, one with life-threatening injuries after they were shot while riding an all-terrain vehicle on a northern First Nation. A 21-year-old man and 17-year-old boy were brought to the nursing station in Matthias Colombe Cree Nation, also known as Puckatawagan, shortly after midnight. They both had to be flown to Winnipeg for further treatment. RCMP have identified a suspect, and an emergency response team is searching for them. A shelter-in-place alert was issued, but police say the First Nation lifted the order. Matthias Colombe is a fly-in community located more than 800 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg. The future of a food security program is at risk for hundreds of older Manitobans tonight. During the pandemic, Age and Opportunity set up a food hamper program. It arranges for the hampers to be directly delivered to the seniors who need them. However, by the end of the summer, the program will end. CTV's John Hendricks reports on what may happen next.
I make sure I get my food.
Victoria Como has always been a strong, independent person, but the 85-year-old's mobility and eyesight hasn't been the same since she was viciously attacked in February of 2025 while walking to the store to buy some milk.
That guy that ran up behind me, I didn't even hear him. He just smacked me in the back of the head and knocked me down.
She still hasn't fully recovered, making it a lot more difficult to get around to places like the grocery store. Luckily, the pensioner has help filling her cupboards. Como is one of nearly 500 older adults getting a food hamper delivered every month from Harvest Manitoba through Age and Opportunity's food security program. It's there to help people recently discharged from hospital or dealing with lack of access to a vehicle, health, or other barriers.
We often refer to it as a basket of services that people need. It's not ever usually just one thing. There's usually multiple things going on.
But the future of the program is in doubt. Agent Opportunity says the province, which has funded the program for the past 2 years, recently told them they were moving on.
We're hoping that this isn't sort of a systemic issue of ageism where older adults aren't being considered within policy.
To ensure clients aren't left in a lurch, Agent Opportunity has sent them this letter, explaining that due to funding reductions, no further hampers will be scheduled for delivery after August 31st.
A program like this is the world there, not only just for the food that comes once a month, but for that little bit of social aspect of having that visit.
Joseph Foray says he'll figure out how to replace the food that may no longer be coming. But he says this was a program that was well worth the investment, and he wants it to continue or be replaced with something similar. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In a statement to CTV News, Health and Seniors Minister Uzoma Asagwara writes in part, "We're moving to a direct partnership with Heart to Home, the organization that has actually been delivering these hampers to seniors. We believe working directly with frontline organizations helps us strengthen services, maximize investments, and make sure more support reaches Manitobans who need it most. We are already actively working with Heart to Home to ensure there is a smooth transition with no interruption in service for current clients." A heavy police presence descended on the city's Sargent Park neighborhood earlier today. Police cruisers could be seen blocking off a stretch of Garfield Street North near the intersection of Sargent Avenue. Further up the street, several officers and the armored rescue vehicle were spotted on the yard of a home. A police spokesperson says they were there to execute a search warrant and there were no threats to public safety. A Manitoba man missing since Christmas Eve has been found dead. RCMP say the body of 37-year-old Blair Calls was found on Brady Road north of the perimeter Saturday. The force says criminality isn't suspected, but the cause of death remains under investigation pending autopsy results. Calls was last seen leaving an address on Manitoba Avenue in Selkirk on the morning of December 24th, 2025. Visitors to Birds Hill Provincial Park hoping to cool off this week will have to wait a little bit longer. Manitoba Park says the pump used to fill the lake still needs to be repaired. That fix will be done this week, but then it takes about 2 weeks to fill the lake. Beachgoers can expect regular water levels by mid-June, according to staff. Taking a look at weather conditions right now for your Tuesday evening, 18 degrees, fairly warm right now in the city of Winnipeg. Winds from the northeast at 27 kilometers an hour. The barometric pressure is rising and the humidity sits at 41%. Tonight, very nice low for your Tuesday night. 13 degrees expected, mainly clear skies over the city of Winnipeg. Winds from the northeast, fairly gusty though at 30 kilometers an hour. And for your Wednesday morning drive to work, sunny skies expected to be throughout much of the rest of the week. Winds fairly light from the east at 10 kilometers an hour.
This is major for Winnipeg. This is going to push an economic agenda for the city and for the province.
A landmark development. What's in store for a massive new project in the burgeoning Centerport Industrial Park? It's being touted as the largest industrial development in Winnipeg's history. A developer has filed an application with the city for a 700-acre industrial park in Centerport. The project, known as Catalyst Park, is expected to bring thousands of jobs to the area. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
It doesn't look like much now, but this dirt field in northwest Winnipeg could one day be home to a number of new companies.
This is major for Winnipeg. This is going to push an economic agenda for the city and for the province.
Jessamine Family Investments filed an application with the city to build a 700-acre industrial park on this land at Centerport. The mayor says the project, known as Catalyst Park, will be the largest industrial development in the city's history.
It'll be a significant industrial development, and it'll be transformative for Winnipeg's economy.
With the proximity to the airport N17 wing, the development is expected to attract the aerospace and defense sectors.
The Centerport South lands are adjacent to the Winnipeg Airport, which really helps to develop and grow and continue to create high-wage, high-paying, good value jobs for Winnipeggers, all related to the sky economy.
Other manufacturing and distribution centers are also anticipated, as well as office buildings and research centers, plus education facilities, even restaurants, to complement the influx of new workers, which could number in the thousands.
I think it'd be fair to say it might look like a bit of a campus as well.
The move comes after the city and province paid to run sewer and water services to Winnipeg's portion of Centerport in 2022, paving the way for new businesses to come here or existing ones to expand.
There hasn't been that land base in the city of Winnipeg to allow those kind of investments to happen and that kind of growth to happen. So this is going to be much needed inventory.
The mayor is voicing his support for Catalyst Park. He notes there are strict drainage rules for developments near the airport, so retention ponds don't attract migrant birds near flight paths.
All the rules related to the airport vicinity plan would have to be complied with, but the Winnipeg Airport Authority right now is one of the most eager developers of their lands.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Even though there are no plans before any councillors at City Hall just yet, the mayor has already written a letter to the local community committee, which would hear the application in the future. It's unclear at this time when the approval process could begin. A new map is highlighting the effects the city's encampment enforcement policy is having on the homeless.
When all of the restrictions are in place and they're added to matters like private property, roadways, parking lot, and the like, we really see that there's nowhere in the city of Winnipeg where it's okay to camp.
The community organizations involved in the mapping tool's creation say the restrictions, which went into effect in November, are breaking up chosen communities where homeless people feel safe and has created a sense of fear. They say some people have also been lost in the shuffle of trying to navigate the system and being forced to bounce between encampments. But Winnipeg's mayor is standing by the policy, calling it a balanced approach, and says there are no plans to revisit it.
We've got too many people that are struggling with addiction. We have too much open drug use. We have too much crime going on, and so this is not the time to be, going in different directions. This is the time to be uniting to combat the challenges on our streets.
The community groups are concerned what will happen as enforcement wraps up with the warmer weather. The mapping tool is available through Resource Assistance for Youth's website. 2 more 7-Eleven stores have closed up shop in Winnipeg. Signs have gone up at the Notre Dame and Arlington store, as well as the Keewatin Street near Logan Avenue location, saying the stores are permanently closed as of today. They add to a growing list of locations which have shut down operations in the recent months. Past closures in the city have been blamed on losses brought on by crime. And last month, the chain announced it expects to close hundreds of North American locations this year. Mayor Scott Gillingham previously said 7-Eleven would be opening several new locations in the city. And as he says, as far as he's aware, that's still the plan.
7-Eleven, if you take a look at what's happening across North America, they've closed hundreds of stores across North America. So this is not just a Winnipeg thing. There have been 7-Eleven store closures across North America. As my understanding is that they're going to a different model.
CTV News has reached out to 7-Eleven for comment. We're still waiting to hear back. Some pushback tonight over the province's social media ban for youth. While the Manitoba Teachers Association recognizes the harmful effects social media can have, it's opposed to a blanket ban.
Well, I think our biggest concern is that there are some decisions that are being made about education that aren't including the educators.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew announced last month he plans to roll out a ban to prevent children from using certain online platforms. But the MTS says it could affect learning plans in classrooms. It says teachers have developed resources and tools over the years which incorporate YouTube and other apps.
It's not a free rein for students to use in a classroom from when they get there at 9 in the morning till they leave at 3:30. These are very specific pieces that supplement lessons. MTS President Lillian Clausen says it's similar to how TV carts and DVD players were used in years past. Clausen says Education Minister Tracy Schmidt heard the concerns at its recent annual general meeting and will be meeting with them to discuss things further in the coming week.
Jaime got his name in the papers, and that made him a hero, to us.
Half-century-old art remembered. Hear about the legacy one Manitoba artist is leaving behind decades after his works were completed. 18 degrees in the city of Winnipeg will bring your complete Skywatch forecast when we return. Skywatch pictures of the day. Our first photo comes to us from Brad Moorhead up in the Westman area of Douglas, Manitoba. Beautiful shot of his plum tree. Thank you, Brad, for that lovely photo. And our second photo comes to us from Dwayne Chornaby up in northeastern Manitoba near the Island Lake region. Beautiful shot as the lake seems to match the quality of the sky. Keep those lovely photos coming to us at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. And it's been a lovely start to the week, of course, as we were talking about weather conditions. Beautiful sun over much of the province again today throughout that Tuesday. Very little cloud coverage again throughout your Tuesday evening here as we take a look at the radar right now, the Skywatch. You can see a little bit of traces of rain in northeastern Manitoba, I should say southeastern Manitoba and northwestern Ontario, just south of Kenora. You can see a little bit of showers, a little bit of activity there, of course, near the Minnesota-Ontario border at this time, but things looking pretty good across Manitoba. Into your Wednesday morning start to the day, things looking pretty good, like I said, across the province. Very little precipitation expected throughout tomorrow as we move along in our future casts there. Clear skies throughout much of the province and temperatures well above what would normally be for this time towards the end of May. Really, again, as we move throughout Wednesday, clear conditions throughout much of the province. You can start to see in the early morning hours of Thursday a little bit of rain with the potential for some cloud coverage there in the northernmost regions of Manitoba. As we move through Thursday, things looking good in southern Manitoba again throughout much of the day. Really, throughout the rest of the week, it's been quite lovely. Nice to see lots of people outside walking around in downtown Winnipeg earlier today, of course, as well. And of course, time to take a look at some Skywatch current conditions right now. Fog throughout much of northeastern Manitoba. Lows of 6 and 7 in Thompson and Island Lake. Temperatures warming nicely, though, to 21 and 19 degrees tomorrow. And again, mainly sunny skies throughout the region. 12 degrees expected in Churchill. In northwestern Manitoba, lows expected of 10 degrees throughout much of the region. OCN, the Paw, Flin Flon, Norway House at 8. But then again, temperatures warming to 22 and 24 degrees tomorrow. And there's that beautiful sun, of course, as well as in Lynn Lake. In Dauphin and the Parklands region and the Westman, lows of 11 tonight in Brandon, Neepawa, 7 in Dauphin, 9 in Swan River. Again, temperatures warming really nicely, almost to that 30-degree mark in Brandon and Neepawa there, expected at 21, and beautiful sun. Expect potential for some wind, of course, still throughout much of the region tomorrow. And again, southeastern Manitoba, 11 degrees for Morden and Winkler, Steinbach, Portage. Clear skies tonight throughout the entire region. Again, potential for some windy hours throughout your Wednesday. Temperatures looking nicely, though. Look at that beautiful 28 and 29. In northeastern Ontario, 13 degrees your expected low in Kenora, 24, 22 your expected high in Dryden tomorrow. And again, things looking really good with lots of sunshine expected on the way. And your seven-day forecast, look at those temperatures warm up to 34 by the end of the week. And looks like it's going to be quite warm this weekend at 33 for Saturday and Sunday. For every household name in the art world, there are thousands of skilled artists which go relatively undiscovered for years. But the paintings and sketches still hold value to those who do the makers best. CTV's Daniel Halmerson has more on one Manitoba artist more than 50 years after he put pen to paper.
He liked to do pen and ink. He did a little bit of oils, but not a whole lot.
Dave Rundle owns just a few of his brother Don Lafort's sketches, like this one of an unknown child from 1973.
Very seldom would he paint a happy face. I've got a happy face here in one of his drawings that I could find.
Rundle says his half-brother was born in 1941 near Powerview Pine Falls, was sent to Fort Alexander Residential School in his youth, and eventually ended up in Winnipeg.
He went to school at Gordon Bell High School. He played football there. One time he got his name in the papers, and that made him a hero, you know, to us.
Some of Lafort's highly detailed sketches from the 1970s pop up online, but there's little information about Lafort or his work readily available.
He was sitting there, and all you could hear was scratch, 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 scratch. Very fast scratching going on, you know. And that was on a piece of paper with his charcoal pencil.
John Mulliel met Lafort while working in downtown Winnipeg in the 70s. He says Lafort's work captured the challenges Indigenous people were facing at the time.
He portrayed that through his works, you know. I think that's what he wanted to show the world.
In 1975, Lafort gifted him one of his sketches. That was the last time Mulliel saw the artist.
He had this rolled up paper in his hand. It looked more like a newspaper rolled up. We unrolled this thing. And my wife said, "Oh my God, this is beautiful."
Mulil's daughter recently tracked down Laforte's family and returned the 50-year-old sketch to them. And while Laforte died in 2000 at the age of 58, Dave Rundle says the rekindled interest in his brother's work is a nice reminder of the man and the artist.
I will always remember him. He will never fade.
Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Nearly 3/4 of Manitobans are ready to stop changing the clocks twice a year. That's according to a new survey by Prairie Research Associates. A little more than a third of those polled would prefer to stay on daylight savings time, citing the value of more daylight in the evenings for after work or school activities. 18% would rather stick to standard time, and 21% said they'd be happy with any permanent time change. Just 14% said they'd rather continue switching between the two, while slightly fewer said they had no preference. The survey of 1,060 Manitobans took place between May 21st and 25th. It cannot be assigned a margin of error as the sample was made up of panel members. However, a random survey of the same size would have a margin of error plus or minus 3 percentage points. The province is conducting its own survey right now to gauge how people feel about the future of the time change in Manitoba. You can give your thoughts by visiting engagemb.ca. A rock and roll reunion. Where are the Guess Who played this evening and when they are coming to town? A family-friendly event is returning to the Forks next month. The Winnipeg International Children's Festival is gearing up for its 44th year. The multi-day event features arts and crafts, visual displays, food trucks, interactive workshops, and more. There will also be an entirely local lineup of performers, including Fred Penner, Al Simmons, and Sarah Teakle. You can catch all the action at the CN stage and field grounds from June 11th through the 14th. Tickets are on sale now at kidsfest.ca. You can peek behind the curtain at several of the city's historic gems this weekend with the return of Doors Open Winnipeg. The free event offers you the chance to explore dozens of houses, churches, museums, and much more that are normally closed to the public. Many locations also offer guided tours or have volunteers on hand to show you around and answer questions. Due to high demand, you'll need to register for some of the events beforehand. You can do that and find a full list of locations by visiting doorsopenwinnipeg.ca. One of Canada's biggest rock acts opened its nationwide tour in the Maritimes tonight. The Guess Who, with Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman, were scheduled to open the tour of classic hits in Moncton, New Brunswick. Tomorrow night, they bring the show to Halifax's Scotiabank Centre. It marks the first time they've toured as the Guess Who since 2000. They're scheduled to play Winnipeg's Canada Life Centre next Friday, June 5th. You can find tickets through Ticketmaster. Runaway cheese. Why dozens of participants in England continue a time-honored tradition of chasing after wheels of Gloucester. 18 degrees in the city of Winnipeg right now. We'll break down tomorrow's forecast next.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Taking a look at your Wednesday morning forecast, 16 degrees for your drive to work at 8 a.m. Temperatures warming nicely up to 28. Winds from the east at 30 kilometers an hour on your drive home. We want to take you to a rather unique way to get your hands on some cheese.
It was crazy. I think this was my most controlled run ever.
The Coopers Hill Cheese Rolling Competition was held Monday in England, sending thrill seekers and cheese enthusiasts down a slippery slope. They were following a wheel of cheese. The event dates back approximately 2 centuries. Well, it looked like quite the wipeout there. That's going to do it for us for another look at tonight's stories. You can visit us online at ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Have a great Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us.